so far here on lap 4 of 13. And to the outside, we're going to see Eracingligan do. But as you see, it's just longer. It's more distance, so it's very difficult to get the run. But now a bit of contact, and actually that is going to be a bit of side draft as well. And he's going to get the run with that. The number 8 losing all that momentum as the two Bright Esports drivers maybe coming around the outside of him as Dan Holmer in the 79 machine tries to get involved, but he backs out of that one. Bright Esports having a great start to this race, but unfortunately, Eracingligan loses another position, loses that one to Lindoff, and also his teammate gets past.
And back down to 8th position now for Acton. And, well, now the teammates are going to look to try and make their way forwards because they've got Fredriksson now behind them. And it's a massive sandwich here, and I'm going to get this right. Oh, as they're side by side, another lock up. The driver's really struggling with these hairpins.
They certainly are. A bit of an interesting one. This style of track around here is all we get a bit of a wiggle there in the background as the 112 of Fredriksson tries to get up the inside here in towards the hairpin of turn 8. A very sort of more normal hairpin compared to some of the other corners on this track. Manages to get that one stuck as 79 of Holmer goes through. Now he's got Holmbom on the back of him, trying to get the run obviously up towards the what we're going to call is turn 9, but of course NASCAR 3 and 4 around this oval speedway, and you're going to see it's an easy corner for these cars, and they're so sort of grip limited as such. Power limits, I should say. They've got so much grip there that you have to wait until you get out onto this straight to try and get that run, try and get that momentum down towards turn 1. Almost a 3-wide situation is going to be for Dan Holmer on the outside of Fredriksson. But, actually, no, he can. In the brake zone, he continues to go side by side in turn 2, but Fredriksson should just about be able to hold onto that one as you come into turn 3.
It's getting very tricky here in these positions, a little bit further back in sort of the midfield areas. However, it's starting to get rather close up at the front as well. I'd just like to check in with our leaders because Byfeld and Olsen, Alexander Olsen that is, very close together, and you'd expect Olsen to be making a move for the lead in the next lap.
Yeah, we were looking at potentially another Olsen to be focusing on this race, Tobias Olsen. He's not here, but Alexander Olsen, he is 5th place in the championship. He's only 1 point, actually, behind Ivan Lenholm for 4th place. So he's getting some good points at this moment and be wanting to get a race victory. Byfeld now is under massive attack. You see the slipstream being so powerful around a circuit like this. And Olsen, of course, getting race victory back the first race in Olsen Park, so he knows how to get it done. Byfeld, though, coming into the season and looking very strong as you come down the front straight away. Street Trends driver batting with the Bright Esports in towards the braking zone of turn number 2, and they hold on to that one. But in the background, actually, Ericsson gets past Haflidsson for that 3rd place as Fredriksson also gets past Holm. Actually, no, Ericsson couldn't complete the move. Haflidsson is coming back in turn 2 and 3. It's now going to be the outside line, though, through this awkward corner of turn 4. It is a bit cambered as well, so often helps the outside line, and it does for the 81 machine. But this brings back Lenholm to come 3 wide down the back straight.
Looking to the inside, Ericsson says absolutely not. And Lenholm's going to have to wait for the exit of this hairpin. He gets a good run now. Where's he going to go? The block comes in from Ericsson. He holds the right-hand side of the circuit now, all the way to the left as well, to try and defend that inside for the hairpin that's coming up. Lenholm's going to have to go the long way around, but surely you just wait it out and make your move down the back straight into the oval turns 3 and 4, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Another great exit there from the 263 driver.
And let's see if he can get that run onto this back straight. The issue for him is that Ericsson, of course, is well in the slipstream of the 81 machine of Haflidsson. And this is a lovely battle working up through the midway of this opening race of the evening. Remember, we have 2 more races to come after this one. The race 2 grid set by the result of this one. So they are fighting for grid position as much as they are with the points. We're going to go 3 wide down the front straight. Is Lenholm. No, he just backs out of that one. To the outside is the 37 of Jesper Ericsson in towards the kink of turn 1. They give each other the space just about now into the braking zone. The 81 still has that inside line, so they continue to go side by side, almost rubbing tyres as we come in towards turn 3. This is a copy of what we saw on the previous lap. The 81 on the outside of turn 4, and once again he's going to get a decent exit, but the 37 of Ericsson holds on.
Just about. This is fantastic, clean racing. A little bit of contact here and there, but nothing major, and they're able to keep going over and over again with these moves. As I said that, that's terrible.
That is absolutely terrible, as you say, for Haflidsson. He gets sent off into the barrier. The 81, 3rd place in the championship, contact with your champion of the season, the 37. And I don't think there was any militia there, of course, but the contact, that was heavy. And unfortunately, the AM Racing team driver of the 81 machine got absolutely sent. Ericsson is there on the inside line. Haflidsson trying to keep him tight to that. But unfortunately, it's wheel-to-wheel contact. The rear wheels basically driving up the rear wheels of the 37, and that sends him absolutely flying off into the gravel.
Flying is definitely the right word. We'll see. Oh, how many spins is he going to do here? He loses the rear wing. That's going to help him out there even more. And well, that is so unfortunate. They're going side by side, though. We'll go back to live pictures here as Ericsson once again still trying to hold off on these positions. And really good racing Ericsson has had so far, but it seems that there's contact that's inevitable at this circuit.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You mentioned this earlier. Pretty much all the corners are hairpins, apart from, well, I mean, turn 1 doesn't really count, and then sort of the 90-degree right of turn 2. The rest of them pretty much are hairpins, so it's an interesting one to see that so far. But as it stands, we're on lap 9 of 13, and Ericsson still hasn't got this third place because Lennholm has managed to get past him in all of this, and now the 37 is going to dive into the inside of turn 8, and it's going to be a nice move there if he can complete it. But it's so wide, Lennholm actually has room to get a bit of a switchback, hasn't done so, and the number 8 of Lindhoff is getting in the back of them. But I say that as Lennholm does get the run actually onto the straight, but is he too close at this moment to try and get the run?
And he's almost been pushed down through the oval now, and up high he goes. Now, this is to let him through without scrubbing off too much speed, and now he's having to box off. I believe it's Lindhoff there, is it, that's trying to get through, and he's done that successfully. Now to go around the outside, they're going to go side by side here in towards turn 1 and 2 once again. Still side by side, the nose is just about kept in there up the inside, and they'll remain side by side through 2 and 3, but you'd expect Ericsson to have this one.
Yeah, just about it was able to hold on to that. But yeah, you're right. He tried to go wide up on the oval and then cut back in. But Lindhoff had such a run. He closed off that gap that Ericsson wanted to go in. And now what is left is Lennholm going up the way once more for this third place. It's been an interesting sort of strategic race from the racecraft side of things. And for some reason, Ericsson just keeps on getting on the back foot of that. And Lindhoff now might be having a run for that 4th position. As well, I'm sure this is not the race that Ericsson would have seen to be having. He had a nice qualifying there up into that 3rd place. He was looking at 2nd halfway through that first lap, and unfortunately dropped behind after running wide a little bit in one of the hairpins. And to the front, we're still seeing that half-second gap between Byfeld and Olsen, but that doesn't seem to be materializing just yet.
And now with 3 laps to go when they come across the line, we can play a little bit of a game with Ericsson here, because heading into this round, before we realized that obviously Tobias Olsen wasn't going to be here, and that just sort of gifted Ericsson the title before the races had even started, he would have had to get a single 4th position finish to claim the championship. But the way that the drop rounds and everything was working, that's what he would have had to do. And right now, he's in 4th position.
Ooh, so he would win it either way. Yeah, whether Olsen was here or not, as we have one of the Bright Esports drivers, that's Olsen. Oh, what a race he's having from that front row, dropping down to 9th place, and that was coming through, I think, turns 2 and 3, having a bit of an issue. Yeah, losing that rear end very early, actually. A bit of an interesting one there. I think that's coming into the hairpin of turn 3 and has got back going as in the live pictures as well. We're seeing that battle continue, but just in behind them, there's a big ding-dong as Holmer, Holmbaum, and Fredriksson all having a bit of a scrap, trying to get their places up inside this top 10. Holmer in the blue and green Bright Esports machine at the front of this. He's in 6th place, and Holmbaum 7th, and then, of course, Fredriksson in 8th place as they continue their fight for those points.
Let's take a look real quick at Ericsson. What is he going to be able to do? He's caught right up to Lennholm now. You'd expect him to go up high for that move to the outside. They're going side by side. He's giving absolutely 0 room on the inside. Lennholm trying to get round, trying to open up turn 1 as much as possible. It's not going to work out for him, and they're going to sort themselves out before they reach turn 2. Looking at the back, side by side here for 5th.
This is turning into a
Sexy,
really nice battle here on the penultimate lap of the race. Side by side in towards turn 3. Bit of a send up the inside there from Fredriksson. Can he get his car ahead? Yes, he can by the time we get to turn number 4. And that was a lovely, clean move. And now he's actually got the opportunity to get past Holmer as well. Just the way this works with all the slipstream, he should be able to close up if he can hold off that number 10 machine in the background. And I think Fredriksson is actually looking very fast. Of course, he's had a sort of a bit of a resurgence over the last few races here on the road course side, but also in the overall as well. He won the previous race, the final race of the season, of the evening, I should say, at Oschersleben, so he's coming in on some good form. Let's see if the 112 can get 6th position.
We'll see now as he will come in this double slipstream that Holmgren will have through NASCAR turns 3 and 4. Looking further up, Blenheim and Ericsson going side by side. Ericsson doing the same thing he did earlier on. Do you think he's just having some fun here?
Oh, yeah, potentially. Potentially that is what is happening as they try to continue the side-by-side battle for this third position. Lindhoff and Lenholm going side-by-side still in towards turn 3. Lenholm just holding on to that third place as Lindhoff is really trying to get this on this final lap of the race. He needs to get the run down on this back straight through turn 5 all the way down towards turn number 6, and maybe Ericsson is trying to let his teammate fight for that one as we come back to this battle for the lead. And Byfeld, he's under huge attack here from Olsen. Olsen needs to play this right. Does he want to dive it into the hairpin of turn 8, or does he want to rely on the slipstream up towards the start-finish line, which is, of course, way down from this flat-out section that they are coming onto now. Byfeld, he gets a decent run, but actually a big gap like that is going to give Olsen a huge advantage. Final lap time for the first race of the evening. This result will, of course, set the grid for race 2, but they get 100 points for race victory. And for Byfeld, who came in halfway through the season, what a resurgence he has had, and he's coming for another race victory. But can Alexander Olsen get another race victory himself up towards the line? They're going to go side by side. Who is it going to be? By thousandths of a second over the line it is going to be, and I think Byfeld just was able to hold on from that one. And also the Forzies drivers, they both get past Lenholm to the line, as it's going to be Lindhoff on the podium with Ericsson just in behind. And also for Forza Esports to the line, very close with loads of those drivers, it's Fredriksson who holds on from Holmer and Holmbaum inside the top 10. Lovely battles here at the Homestead Miami road course. It's certainly a bit of a quirky track, but the racing seems to be really good.
Oh, it is. It's doing even better than I expected. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't realize that there were going to be so many overtakes through turns 2 and 3. I thought they'd try and sort themselves out before they got there, but no. The driver's having a great time out there, and yeah, we're going to have still 2 more races of this, so I can't wait.
As it was by 2 thousandths of a second in the end. Byfeld just about held on. Olsen giving it everything to try and take another race victory, but unfortunately could not do so. Yeah, Olsen having 1 race win this season, and Byfeld having, I think it's 2 race victories to his name. But in the end, that was a great race here to finish, to start the finish of the season. There it is, Byfeld. Remember, this is the grid for race 2 as well. Byfeld takes that win with Olsen just 2 thousandths of a second behind. Lindhoff and Ericsson, they work together to get past Lenholm on that final lap. So Forza Esports doing a great job from those positions. Lenholm rounding out the top 5. Fredriksson, Holmer and Holmbaum having that awesome battle in their own 3-way battle for the top 6 and top 8 positions. Melvin Oxen, unfortunately from the front row, goes to 9th place, and Klaas Loden rounds out your top 10. Jesper Eriksson getting the fastest lap on lap 5 as well with 17.4. Hammerström, Norgren, Giros, Johansson and Skeglersen round out your top 15 with Motin Neptun, Jonsu, Wallingston from the back, and Pfeffer is in 20th position. And then on the final page, the drivers are unfortunately having some issues with Bjork Kiddle. The final drivers on the lead lap with Broström, Lundberg and Holmgren being 1 lap down, with Haflidersen being sent off, unfortunately getting a DNF from that, and Hellberg 10 laps down to round out the first race of the evening. And that was certainly some good fun, and I hope we can see that continue over the course of this next race as well. It's going to be interesting if these drivers can continue those battles. And it does happen very quickly in this league. We don't wait around too long between races 1 and 2. But then just to finish off that one, do you think Olsen now has any chance to get Byfeld in this second race?
It's going to be close. I think it's even going to be closer because we probably won't have, hopefully, a wreck into the first couple of corners in the first few laps. So we'll have more than just 2 cars up at the front. It's going to be some good fun, I think, with even more cars to join in at the front.
So, of course, the battles will continue, but now the gaps have all been put together. So, Lindhoff and Ericsson, they were 6 seconds behind the top 2, but now they are 0 seconds behind the top 2. Just a few meters between them on the grid boxes, and they can have these battles restarting all over again as the mega final by Hafley gets underway for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's race 2 of the evening here at Homestead Miami Road Course. And it's Byfeld from that front row getting a good start once again as he easily has Olsen covered off for this turn number 1. But in the background, actually, is Ericsson having a bit of a bad start then. He's going to be overtaken by Lenholm. Actually, no, they can continue to be side by side. Of course, these two battling to the line in the previous race, but now we go back racing and they continue their side-by-side battle in towards turn number 4. Still the black machine for Forza Esports up the inside. It's the Bright Esports blue and orange machine on the outside as they continue to go side-by-side down the back straight.
That they do. In for second position, the top 3 remain single file. A little bit of a look there from Ericsson for that 4th position back, but stays in 5th place for now. A couple of drivers side by side near the back of the field, but otherwise we're all single file. But crucially, no real big gaps, and that means we're going to have a draft fest back down towards the start. Finishes up the inside for second position is that Alexander Olsen.
Yes, certainly is, as he tries to obviously continue that battle with Byfeld, but unfortunately it's not going his way because Lindhoff has got past him and Byfeld is going off into the distance as we come to the end of this first lap. And this is absolutely awesome slipstream that we're seeing in the background. This is Lenholm trying to get a double overtake potentially. Jesper Eriksson getting involved. Look at the power of that slipstream coming onto the front straightaway, coming close to 4 wide in towards turn number 1. And this is going to be very difficult. Eriksson all the way around the outside to huge contact. He tried a difficult move and he's been sent barreling upside down. And that is a repeat, unfortunately, of what we saw have listened in that first race. But even worse, actually, Eriksson trying to make it 3 wide on the outside of a very difficult corner. It narrows so much, and unfortunately your champion for this season goes upside down into the gravel.
He does indeed, and they're still going to be side by side a little bit further back as well. Some more battles with the teammates here making their way through on the second lap. Once again, a 13-lap race. We don't increase the distance until a little bit later on in race 3, but up at the front has that spread things out a bit. Byfeld, he's got over a second's lead.
And he's looking very, very strong to hold on to this. Is anyone going to be able to close him down? We'll have to see. It's going to need some sort of non-fighting as such for them to catch him down. Let's see a replay, though, of Ericsson. He's so close to a 4 wide. He goes round the outside. There's already contact between the Bright Esports drivers, and that sent... that was Olsen on the outside and Lenholm on the inside making contact, pushing Olsen wide into the line of Ericsson, although it was already a very risky move and it's so difficult to judge when you're in the middle of a free ride situation. And I do not sort of blame any of those drivers of the Bright Esports drivers at all on the inside there. That was just a very risky move. It's a do or die situation, and unfortunately for Ericsson, that did not work out, which is a shame because he's had such a good season and he tried something nice but didn't quite work out.
But the battles will continue, and they're going side by side further back. It's Feddersen and Holmboom, I believe, making their way through side by side in towards turn 5. Almost contact. They're so close to there. It's such a tight corner as there's a spin in the background. I don't think there's any contact involved. And that's Neptune that's turned around.
And further contact in this race. Not what we wanted to see, but it's certainly a very... tricky track, actually. It's turning out. It's so sort of fast, and the moves come at you very, very quickly. So that's Havlinson there. Of course, he was one of the drivers upside down. He's now got himself back up inside the top 9. This could be crucial for the reverse grid positions, already inside that top 15. But this is a good recovery from the driver who finished obviously way down the back of the field. And look at the speed that he's got already in this second place. Is in the background. The teammates are going side by side. with Holmer in there as he's trying to make, Holmbom I should say, trying to make the move down this front straightaway in that number 10 machine as he tries his best to get past Haflidson's. Actually, his teammate though round the outside, that's going to be of Motin, and he's going to slide past as the two teammates swap around.
And these moves in towards the first corner, every single lap we're seeing drivers swap around. If you ask Lewis McGlade, he'd say this is boring racing. I disagree massively. The drafting racing is fantastic, and they're still going side by side further back, 2 rows back. If we go back towards the end of the top 20, we're looking at the fight for 17th at the moment, or 16th even. And they're all going side by side. In towards the last corner. Oh, very nearly contact. There's a big lockup from one of our drivers there. I think it's Jonsu there.
Yes, these guys taking it to the limit. Final race of the season, and this is certainly opening up to be a bit of a firecracker for some of the wrong reasons. We're seeing another spin there in the hairpin on the outside, as unfortunately the issues for some drivers continue. But back up towards the front, contact is made between Lindhoff and Lenholm. They're batting for second place here as we go on to lap 5 of the race, side by side in towards turn number 1. Of course, Olsen is sitting in behind waiting for something potentially to happen. Lindhoff there, has he gone a little bit wide? Is that going to open up the door? Yes, it is. Lenholm dives it to the inside of turn 3. That's going to turn now to the outside of turn 4, but that should be a bit of a decent run on the outside, although a bit of a contact as he's elbowed out the way.
It's all getting very spicy here as we make our way onto lap 5 of 13, and these 3 cars having a good old battle. The 3 cars behind them of Åkesson, Fredriksson and Holmer going side by side as well further back. And meanwhile, Byfeld out in the lead by over 2 seconds now, 2.5 seconds even. Loving life.
Yeah, that's turning out to be a lovely race so far, and he's just using his speed because he's got no one to battle, and this just shows you how battling it loses you loads of time. Of course, it gives us some great action, but yeah, for Byfeld, he's just doing some qualifier laps up towards the front and putting in some good pace. And actually, Lenholm has a faster lap than him so far, probably due to that slipstream as well in these battles that we're having. And so this is going to be difficult for Lindhoff to hold on to down the front straight once again. This slipstream is so powerful as you get the huge run up towards turn 1, out of the hairpin, many kilometers go. Now side by side they go in towards turn 3, as we're going to see a repeat of what we saw last lap, but this time on the other way around. But actually he's gone wide, Lenholm there. Now this is bringing Olsen back into the battle side by side. The teammates go, but they continue in 1, 2, 3.
That they do, and I very impressive that he's actually managed to hold on to that position, because really going off the circuit there can spell the end of your race. You can end up in the wall very easily. The grass can suck you out, and yeah, that could very easily have gone much further south, but keeps control of the car, gets it back onto the tarmac, and keeps going without too much time lost. These two going side by side once again. It's Fredriksson and Holmer in towards this last corner before we make our way back onto the oval. He's going to make that move, stick on the inside, but will he be able to keep it into the start finish?
This is going to be a tough one to hold on to. It seems like leading is almost not what you want to be doing. It actually seems to be the slipstream is very powerful, as we saw that side by side to the line between Olsen and Byfeld in that previous race. Byfeld was able to hold on to it that time around. The start finish straight is a little bit early, but this time around Olsen does get past in towards turn 1, but can he hold it as they continue to go side by side? At least he got his nose past, I should have said, as Lindhoff now continues in that second position. He's doing just enough on that inside line of the braking into turn 2.
Just about enough as we reach the halfway point in this one. But all this battling, Byfeld's looking back and he's thinking, well, you boys keep going. I'm just going to drive off into the distance. There's contact, but unfortunately, it's only turned around Olsen. And he's the only person there that's affected by that. The others will carry on going, and Olsen with a self-inflicted spin there.
Yes, it's yeah, taking them out of this battle for the podium as well. And yeah, self-inflicted one's always a bit of a difficult one, because drivers trying something but making a mistake and not quite making it work. Talk about mistakes there. Fredriksson can't get on the power, sliding the rear as Holmer gets that run on towards his back straight. But is he too close? He's going to be pushing the Force driver around the hairpin, I should say, around the banking as he goes to the outside line. He's going to sort of lose some momentum with that, and that's actually a good thing, because now he can get back down into the slipstream, use a bit of the gravity coming off the banking, and try to get the run down towards the first corner. Is working really well for him at this moment in time. To the outside, the RaceSpotTV driver goes, and it's a risky move around the outside of turn 1 in towards turn 2. They leave each other just about enough space into the braking zone, but it's going to be Fredriksson still holding on the inside. He chunks the curb, he pushes Holmer off onto the grass, who just about keeps it, goes for a little dive back into turn 3, but has to concede that position.
He does indeed. I wonder if he'll give that position back. They do tend to be quite respectful drivers in this series, and I mean, he has just sideswiped him off the circuit, but no, he will keep the position for now. And I feel like this is it's going to get a bit spicy into the last couple laps of this race, especially now that Holmer has Haflidason to deal with, who's caught all the way up to these guys in that 7th position. He wants to get to top 5.
Yeah, certainly does. Having a really good race, really good race over the course here of Homestead, Miami, as we're getting some further issues there. Down was turning out to be a very tricky turn 6, it seems, for quite a few of these drivers. As we go back to this battle for P2, Lindholm has dropped off. Lindhoff is able to get a bit of a run there, but let's see how powerful the slipstream is. Might not get him into turn 1-2 this time around, but it might bring him back into the fight for this next lap around as we go on to another lap here. Lap 9 of 13 for the second race of the evening. Remember, we've got a reverse grid third and final race of the season coming up here for the mega final by Hafley, and there has been some mega racing and battles so far, as Holmboom's dropped down 2 positions. Hammerstrom and Holmeren have got past him for P8 and P9.
That they have, and we're looking at all throughout the field. There's battles going on left, right, and center. Wherever you look, there's drivers going side by side. You see all the way back down here, it's Alexander Olsen and I believe Dan Segelson making their way side by side through turns 3 and 4. Haflidason has got past Holmer in towards that hairpin in the middle of the circuit, and now they're side by side heading to this final hairpin off onto the banking.
And it's going to be a bit of a send there onto the inside of the braking zone. Can he make it stick up the inside? As it's going to be now Haflidason trying to find where he wants to put his car for the NASCAR turns 3 and 4. They're using all of the apron there, trying to get every last bit of meters out of the circuit. It's all a bit of a wiggle, trying to get onto the banking and not to use the apron. They want to use that. Of course, the benefit of the camber in the road, as Holmer keeps that position for now, but will Haflidason get the run onto this front straightaway? Goes to the right-hand side. We've seen quite a few issues so far this evening. It's a very tricky turn 1, as the 81 machine's just going to slightly hold off on that one, I think. Actually, no, he goes deep on the brakes, so tries to make it around the outside, but Holmer continues to hold on to that position as Haflidason continues with a very good run back up the field from the back.
And still trying to hold that side by side. Haflidason on the inside for this next hairpin, the right-hander. Down the inside, deep on the brakes. He keeps it tight to the inside. No contact there. Makes that move, but just about makes it stick as well as he gets fully in front. Swipes the nose off of Holmer, and Holmer now back and forth trying to find an opening into this hairpin, but he drops back. And now we'll try and get a good exit as we make our way back onto the oval once again. They'll have 3 laps to go next time by.
They certainly will, as these races do fly by very quickly. Some fast laps around here, just about 1 minute 18 seconds per lap, as it's getting very close to the end of the season now. Byford leads by 3.5 seconds, but Lindhoff and Lindholm having a really good battle for that second place. And also we're seeing here Haflidason hold on to that 6th place, but will he have enough this time around? Holmer's coming back. They swapped around. Will they swap back into the positions they previously were? Holmer around the outside of turn 1, coming to the braking zone of turn 2. Seems like it's a very good break, so to break late. You have a very good line then towards turn 2, but not able to get him back, as the 81 machine now might just be able to hold on. He's arguably slightly faster driver. If he can just pull away, gets him out of the slipstream. The issue is around here, the slipstream just pulls drivers along.
It does, and very deep on the brakes there for Holmer, trying to get back past the Fiddlerson. They've been going back and forth pretty much the entire last 5 laps or so. And looking, you can see all the way up in the distance, that is the furthest to the front battle. It's Lennholm and Lindorf going for second position here. 3.8 seconds off the lead. Beifeld just has to keep it clean for the next 2 laps to take a race win once again. But these two battling for that second spot on the podium.
As it's getting very, very close to these drivers. Once again, the slipstream bringing Lennholm back into it, down towards turns number 1 and 2, as it's going to be not enough this time around, actually, for a run. Interesting now. I wonder if he's just holding back at that point of the track for now, maybe waiting for an opportunity, because we did see drivers gain a lot more in the in previous attempts at that point of the track. Maybe he's just waiting for that right opportunity, because as we've seen, sometimes it's better to actually not be leading in a battle onto that final lap, which they're going to be coming onto. 1.5 laps remain, as Hafliderson and Holmer continue their battle, but Holmer can't quite get back past the 81 machine there for his currently their battle for 6th position so far. So many battles up and down the field actually continuing on. This seems to be really close, but not for Beifeld though, who is leading very comfortably as he's coming shortly onto that final lap.
Very shortly indeed. We've barely seen him. He sort of saw the incidents happening behind him in that big battle, got a good launch off the line and disappeared off into the distance and has never looked back. 4 seconds now is the gap as these two behind continue to battle, and now we're just 2 more opportunities into that ideal overtaking spot. That is turn 1 coming out of this final couple of corners on the banking. Lennholm, is he going to go past this time by... It looked for a second like he lifted off, and I think that's exactly what he's done. He wants that position on the final lap. He does not want to give Lindorf the opportunity to get past him.
Interesting tactics, but is Lindorf happy with that? Does he want to try and hold on to the lead now? Or is he actually going to be hoping that Lennholm gets past him, so then he has the slipstream towards the line? Interesting tactics happening here on such a slipstream heavy track. Is opening up to be a great evening of racing so far. As we come up to the end of the second race, we've got the reverse grid to come. Top 15 of this result will be reversed for the final race of the season. But how is it going to end? How are those final grid positions going to be handed out? We're yet to finalize some of these positions. We're on to the final lap of the race. Beifeld, you can see him up the way there, leading very comfortably. He's just got 2 corners remaining in this race. But for second place, this is where the action is on the final lap. Can Lennholm get the run to the line in the previous race? Alexander Olsen, by 2 thousandths of a second, didn't have enough slipstream to get past Beifeld for the race lead. But this time around, can Lennholm do anything about Lindorf coming towards the line? It is going to be close between these two as they continue their run for this second place. Lennholm, he gets closer and closer. Beifeld will take victory for the second race of the evening, but to the outside, the Bright Esports drivers go. Can Lennholm get it towards the line? Side by side, has he got him? The overlay thinks he has by a few thousandths of a second. I think Lennholm has been gifted it by 8 thousandth of a second. He timed the overtake to absolute perfection as Lindorf loses to the line in the number 8 machine, and it does look like it was better to be in second position in a battle towards the line, as this track gives us more and more action this evening.
Well, that was incredible, to the line, and it does look like Lennholm got it, and the difference at the line was 8 thousandths of a second. It's absolutely fantastic stuff to go around the outside. The strategy just about paid off. It was very close. So yeah, props to him, because it was a risky move to not make the overtake when it was possible. He had a mega run with 2 laps to go, and he decided he was going to try and get the same run again on the final lap, and boy did he.
Yeah, that was an awesome race, and of course that rounds out the second race of the evening. We still have one more to go in a few minutes' time, but actually in between the races, we'll try and get a bit of an interview as well with the champion Jesper Eriksson. But unfortunately, he had a huge crash, didn't he? Coming through turn 1. And that is, that's a very tricky situation for the Forza Esports driver. But of course, when you have it in the bag, you're already pretty happy with that one. But first, let's get results for this second race. Beifeld taking a second race victory. Last time by 2,000 of a second. This time a little bit easier by over 4 seconds from Lenholm, who got Lindhoff to the line by 8 thousandths of a second. Augustin and Fredriksson round out your top 5 with Holmer, Hafferson, Holmerin, and Hammerstrom. All the H's there inside your top 9, with Lodin rounding out your top 10. And Havlison also getting the fastest lap. That's very good from him, of course, from the back of the grid. Gerasson Olsen inside your top 12 with Holmborn, Skegelsen, and Wallingston round out your top 15 with Hellberg, Pfeffer, Broström, Bjork, and Junsu rounding out your top 20. And then for your final page for round 2, it's Kinnel, Neptun, Motin, Lundberg, Nordgren, Eriksson, and Johansson to round out your top 25. And as the drivers take a little bit of a break before we get to the reverse grid race, we'll be back in a couple of minutes after some messages from our partners.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
And welcome back to the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's final round of the season for the Formula Series. We've had an amazing season so far, and it is very tight in the championship, coming for second place into the final race of the season in a few moments' time. So myself, Cameron Roger, Dane Baird, alongside me in the commentary box and doing the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. But just before we get into the final race of the season, we'll get an interview from your champion, who has already been decided. It is, of course, Jesper Eriksson in the 37 Forza Esports machine. And what a
team championship, as you should call it, it's just an amazing feeling for everyone. Everyone should be so happy, and this season has been amazing. I've just been consistent all year long. Maybe not all the wins that I wanted. Some more could have worked, but just it's good to stay safe. And now that I completed it, I can just throw the car, which just feels really nice.
I was going to ask you about that. You haven't got a race victory since round sort of the 9th race of the season, so half a season ago now. So yeah, certainly been a tricky one. How have you found this championship with just the style of racing? There's so many cars. We've got the reverse grid. It's certainly very chaotic.
I love it. The chaos and everything. I love it. I love that all about it. And everyone here has so much respect for each other off track and mostly on track too. So I love this series. I love everyone here, and the broadcast is just amazing. So 10 out of 10.
And just finally, before we get into the final race, what are you going to do in this final race? Of course, you're going to be starting way back after your barrel roll in turn 1. Are you going to be getting on the podium, do you think? Are you going to smash your way through the field?
I've done it before, so why not? I mean, the championship is done for me. I'm just not going to try to destroy for anyone else, but for me, I'm just going to send it and not try to touch anyone.
I love that. That's what we love to hear. So congratulations, Jesper. You're the 2023 champion.
Thank you very much, boys.
And then, of course, the number 37 machine, as he does a nice interview as they're getting on the grid. So we're going to be absolutely loving that one. So let's see what we're going to be doing with the reverse grid, of course, for this final race of the season. Top 15 get reversed from the results. So Marcus Byfeld goes back to 15th place, but quickly we'll run you through the front of the grid. Wallingston and Skeglerson on your front row, with Holmblom and Alexander Olsen on your second row. Giros and Loudon, the teammates, round out your top 6. And of course, on to the next place, we get all the H's. Hammerstrom, Holmgren, Hafliderson, Homer, Fredrickson, and Aukson inside your top 12. And then, of course, we go back to the final reverse drivers of Lindorf, Lenholm, and Byfeld, and then we'll let the rest of the results from race 2 work their way down as we come on to the final race of the season. Of course, Jesper Eriksson there, 26th place, as it's certainly getting to crunch time in this race, in this season. Final race of the season coming your way. We've absolutely enjoyed it here for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Formula Series, coming back for another season. And who knows, we might be getting some more racing in the very near future. But of course, for one final time, we need to go racing. 18 laps coming your way. Slightly longer race for this reverse grid, with Wallingston and Skeglerson on that front row. And it's going to be a very tricky one for those drivers to hold on to those positions. We've got fast drivers coming through. Byfeld from 15th place. Jesper Eriksson from 26th. How far up the grid can they go? Is there anything they can do in this mega final by Hafley? It's been amazing to have all the partners following along with this season. Got many of the teamsmen, the drivers as well, getting involved, sponsoring races. As you see, with Hafliderson getting involved with a couple of races as well in the Oval Series. There's an amazing community here in the Svenska Eracingligan, and we just absolutely love the racing that we're seeing so far in 2023. Of course, we still have a race left to go in the Oval Series in 2023 before we then move our way into 24, and then we'll be looking to go racing once more, of course, in the road side of things and also in the Oval Series. But for now, we need to finish off this season. One final race, 18 laps to go here at Homestead Miami on the road course, and it is Carla Wallingston from the front row. He gets a bit of a bad launch though, and from the second row, it's the two drivers of Holmblom and Olsen getting the run, going almost 4 wide in towards the first corner. That is very tight. Olsen on the outside there for Bright Esports, trying to get himself up into that second place, maybe even to first. Around the outside, it's going to be coming through in towards the second corners. Wallingston holds on to that pole position, to the lead, in towards turn 2 and 3 now. It's going to be, of course, Skeglerson holding on to that third place in the background.
Oh, I think there was a car flipping over itself. It just sort of, the front wing popped up into the sky, into the bottom of our shot. There's a car off in the background, and there's Mania breaking loose there in the back of the field, and drivers going left, right, and center. But out in front, it's Olsen from 4th on the grid.
It certainly is. What a crazy way to start this race. As I mean, to be honest, that's been a bit chaos as we've seen all this evening so far. As we've already seen Byfeld up inside the top 8. Huge send there from Eriksson down the inside. He's already up into 15th place. He's got past almost half the field in the first, 6 corners of the track already onto this back straight. Maybe he can get up onto that podium. Let's see what progress he can make. But it's actually opened out quite a lot, spread out a little bit more. But let's see what the slipstream does. We come to the end of this first lap. Alexander Olsen for Bright Sports comes across the line, leading the way with Cedric Holmblom in second place.
That he does, and Eriksson, like you say, he's managed to make his way. Always Lenholm has gone off and to the pit, so down to the pit lane for Lenholm. But Eriksson gained 12 positions. He's in 14th, so he basically has got past half the field at this point, but they're swapping back and forth a little bit further up the road. Fredrickson and Hammerstrom going side by side, and Loden there as well to keep things interesting too.
Oh, huge send down the inside. Can he make it stick to the apex? No, he can't. Oh, and we get another calf going, flipping upside down. And that is not what we want to see here. And unfortunately, it's at the 82 machine, I think. Further contact further up the road.
Ericsson.
Turn 7. Ericsson loses his rear wing, pulls off the track, and it's further carnage here at Homestead.
We'll have to get another look at what happened there. There were two completely separate incidents. So we'll see if we can get another look and figure out what exactly went down, because that was a lot happening at once. There were, I think, 3 separate incidents happening, but at the front, Holmboe now wants to look for the race lead. 2 tenths back as they make their way off the banking.
This is getting close as the drivers fight for the final win of the season. Olsen trying to get his second win of the season. Holmboe, of course, trying to get his first. This is going to be a nice battle towards the end. Plenty of laps to do so. Can Holmboe continue that speed? Is a huge slide, massive slide there for Olsen as he pushes towards the front. Loads of positions swapping in the background. Byfeld already up to 4th place as he gets past Loden. Here's the send down the inside there from the 112 machine. Absolutely sends flying. Unfortunately, that is... was that Haflinson? No, it wasn't. Unfortunately, that would have been a difficult one for 2 times in a row. I think it was Hamster, unfortunately, getting caught up in that one. Then further contact, extra crashes there on the exit. And as you see, 37 just pulling straight off, knowing that his race was done.
Yep, and out of the session as well. He's not going to head back out there. So that's an unfortunate way to end the championship for our champion. It's a good thing, I think, Cam, that we got a chat with him before this race, because I'm not sure we would have got one afterwards. So, yeah, it's a good thing that we did get to have a chat with our champion of this season. Also just starting to extend a little bit of a gap here, which is a bit surprising. We haven't really seen him be able to do that in any of the races so far, but doing a good job so far in this one. Holmboe is able to keep up with him, but only because of the draft. And I think a couple more laps of some good pace by Olsen, and he could very well break that draft sometime soon. We'll see a little bit further back. There's no one really making many moves as of yet, but I'm sure that's going to change.
Yeah, I think the slipstream will bring people closer together. As obviously in the first couple of laps, we've seen a bit of chaos. It opens up the gaps, but then we may see the yo-yo come back together. Of course, as they try to do the final battles of the season side by side, we're seeing there Kinnell, and unfortunately just losing out that position for now. Actually having a bit of a bad run there, really losing the momentum onto that straight between turn 5 and 6. Have to try and regain that battle as Gyros, then the Street Trends entry, of course, with the red rims as well. Gotta love that one as he works his way up the field for now. But that was certainly an eventful opening couple of laps in all 3 races, and is what we've been accustomed to see this season. It's great racing action, but it's just so close, Dane, in those first couple of laps that people sort of trip up on each other.
Yeah, it is, and I'm going to see if we can grab another look here at what happened to Jesper Eriksson, because we didn't quite catch it either time when we saw it live or on the replay. And I think there was a second incident that happened whilst we saw the original incident off in the gravel. So we'll see if we can't just grab a look at that now for you.
And up the inside, it's going to be in towards turn 6. And then, yeah, the contact is made there on the outside. The car gets sent flying 3 or 4 times around. There's the rear wing going off the track. And, yeah, that is a really sort of unfortunate situation, to be honest. And that's going to be a double DNF as well. Eriksson in this final round here at Homestead. And he sort of really got his points done in the first half of the season. So he won't have won in any of the final 9 races of the season, and still is going to get the championship with that one. So just showing you how consistent you need to be in the opening part.
Where did he finish in race 1? I've slightly forgotten. Was it 4th or was it 5th?
It was third.
It was 3rd. Okay, so he would have had the championship wrapped up anyway. I was just thinking for a second, Tobias Awesome watching this thinking, well, I could have had a championship. But no, he still would have been a couple of points short. But genuinely, we came into this round saying, well, that's never going to happen, is it?
And that's a good point, actually.
It nearly did.
So maybe should have showed up for that, but certainly the battles continues. Kinil now as Seglerson from that front row had a terrible start and is now battling outside of the top 10. Needs to try and get back up inside it. This will be one position close if he can get Kinil in towards the first couple of corners. Not turn 1, but maybe a switch to the left for turn 2. Not quite that time around, as there's Gyros just up the road. But yeah, you're right on that one. I think it was either third or fourth because he and Lindhoff got past Lenholm to the line in that sort of double photo finish that we saw. So yeah, certainly it was on the limit, but either way he did enough. And unfortunately, Tobias Olsen not attending after a great season. And that's actually a good point because there are other things to focus on in terms of the championship because it is very close between loads of these drivers. There's only 12 points separating Byfeld, Lenholm, Hafliderson and Lindhoff for second place in the championship coming into this race.
Yeah, and I would like to do something real quick and put a massive precursor to that to say that is Linus Brostrom's maths, not Cameron Rogers' maths, because you should never trust a commentator's maths. However, Linus is a commentator, so do with that information what you will. I personally would take it with a grain of salt, especially if you're one of the drivers fighting for that second place in the championship. But I think regardless of what the actual numbers are, it's still very close, and it's still very close, even if Linus has made a couple of mistakes in there. But we'll see. We'll see how it looks after these races. We're going to see another side-by-side here. Segelson and Kinnell going side-by-side through turns 2, now through turn 3, a big lock-up on the inside. And they'll make the move stick nice and cleanly. A little bit of a switchback here, actually. We might see side-by-side into the hairpin.
Yeah, that was a lovely move and managed to hold on to that one, but another braking zone comes up. Back down the inside is going to be from Kinnell. So close between the pair, almost touching. And it looks like Segelson is going to have to just back out of that one on the outside as we come through the very fast kink of turn 7. And Kinnell, can he just come across the left-hand side to cover that one off? No, he doesn't. So Segelson's really going to have to work for this and need to look in the background as well because they're getting another driver come out. There's Norgren down the inside is going to be, though, from Segelson. He makes it to the apex. He has that one stuck as Norgren comes into this battle to try and get those positions. That is up into 12th place now from Segelson. We come back to the front, though, as Holmbom is having a huge battle with Olsen for the race lead. Olsen on the inside there for Bright Esports. On the outside, though, it is Holmbom. He tries to make it stick around the outside for Hexion, but can he get now this position up the inside? No, because he can't, as Byfeld is going to be diving up the inside there from 15th place on the grid. This might be second place around the outside of turn 4. It's going to be what a drive this is.
And it's so difficult to hold it around the outside and get two wheels all over the curb, but don't touch the grass, otherwise it'll end in disaster. And he's done that perfectly. Byfeld showing why he's taken 2 of 2 race wins right now. He's looking for number 3, and once again, as we saw earlier on, he's battling with Olsen for it.
He certainly is. What a final race of the season. It's a mega final. The mega final by Hafley is certainly living up to its name with the battles that we are seeing. And what a finish the season would be as well if Byfeld can get a 1, 2, 3, also victories, I should say, in race 1, 2, and 3. That would be quite something. He came into this championship despite missing the first 2 rounds of the season. It looks like he's going to be getting second place in the championship, and this is working out really, really well for him as Olsen now. These two battled by 0.002 of a second for the first race victory, but can Byfeld now get that position back?
Here's the interesting thing as well. Olsen, he's getting 3 positions in this race. He started in 4th after not the greatest showing in race 2. Had a little bit of a struggle there. Byfeld gained 13. Started P15, obviously with the win and the 15 position reverse grid. So these two drivers have managed to fall back to each other once again, even though they were separated by 10 positions on the grid. So right back up to the front. Clearly, these two drivers have something that the other drivers are missing, and they're just the best in this field at this circuit. Obviously, you've got a couple of drivers that have been taken out or being involved in their own incidents, but these two consistently up at the front as Byfeld looking for that good exit. He looks like he's going to go for the lead straight away.
I think he certainly is. He's not going to want to sit around on that one. But as we've seen, being in second place in a battle often does well in terms of getting the position by the start-finish line on that final lap. But maybe he thinks he can overtake and then pull away like he did in the previous round. Here, Byfeld comes to the outside. The Street Trends driver goes. Can he get the run down this front straight as Olsen tries to hang on to that lead that he's had from the end of that first lap? Side by side they go. Here's the move around the outside as Byfeld makes that stick. Olsen didn't fight it too much coming in towards turn 2. I think he might have let that one go. Now wants to sit in that slipstream, but Holmbom is watching on, waiting for something to happen too.
That he is, and he can see. He's seen all of the contact that there has been in these races so far. It is so difficult. Like I said before we even got started, it is difficult to hold it side by side through turns 1, 2, and 3. And we've seen it so many times. Eventually, you're going to have problems, and we have had some issues with the drivers where they've made a little bit of contact or they've gone a bit wide, touched the grass, and spun themselves around. It's going to happen, and if they keep going side by side, back and forth between each other, Holmbom can probably just sit here and wait for them to make a mistake.
Yeah, I think that's probably I think that's probably the way that he's going to have to do it over the course of the next few laps. Try and get into a nice position and use the drivers around to use that slipstream. It seems to be so powerful around here as we're getting further battles. This a little bit in the a little bit further down the three-way battle. There's Holmer then the green entry. He's trying to hold on, but on the inside of him, he's got loaded. Now Oxen to the outside, 3 wide. We go in towards the final corner here at Homestead Miami Road Course. Awesome scenes across the stripe we go as is Loden who has the inside line towards turn 1. He should be able to hold on to that one, but Holmer's going to send it around the outside on the brakes in towards turn 2. Almost a bit of there is a bit of contact. Åkesson gets involved as well. Then they push each other into the walls. The wheels get collided and collected. They can't steer the car as it looks like Åkesson going on with that one. Unfortunately, it's Loden and Holmer really who's lost out most from that one.
An innocent bystander as well behind. He's backed out of the corner. He didn't want to go side by side through the first couple of corners and ended up getting involved in the incident anyway, trying to get past them. So very unfortunate stuff. A little bit further back in the field, but up at the top, they were side by side. Olsen and Holmbom side by side, but wasn't able to make that move. Olsen stays in second place for now. They have unfortunately lost a couple tenths to Byfeld up at the top, and we know how dangerous that can be.
Yeah, it's a tricky one around this track. Really difficult to get those gaps as Holmer gets back past Wallingston. So he's certainly got some speed still in that car after that contact. Now it's to chase down Åkesson, who they were having that battle with a little bit earlier, but back to the front. Olsen is not giving this one up. He's in that slipstream. He's getting close, but I wonder if he's doing that tactic like his teammate did of sitting in and trying to use that slipstream to pull along and keep the pace, because of course Byfeld is a very fast driver as we've seen today. Keep that pace of Byfeld and then be there on that final lap. Holmbom's sort of doing the same as well in that third place. So maybe that is the tactic for these drivers. But there's so many. Åkesson unfortunately comes into the pit lane actually. So he is going to be losing out from that. Obviously the damage potentially being a little bit too much as we have seen a load of DNFs already. Motin, Hafliderson, Eriksson, Neptune, Bjork, Hammerstrom, Fredriksson, Loden and now Åkesson all in the pit lane.
Yeah, it is unfortunate to see. But I think we kind of expected it with the reverse grid of the track where we've already had quite a few incidents to begin with. Possibly could have been predicted. Olsen, now as they made their way back onto the back straight, 6/10 back. He's a 10th further back than where he was in the last time by, so I don't think he's going to be able to make a move in towards turn 1 here. But crucially, sticking in that draft, and he will catch up. So he's not dropping back enough for Byfeld to pull away. However, he's still not catching enough to make a move. So with 5 laps, or 6 laps, I should say, left in this race, what's the game plan here for Olsen?
I really think I think if he doesn't keep in this slipstream, he's going to lose out on a bit of speed. So I think what he needs to do is just absolutely rinse that slipstream and try and stay there. The issue is he just can't make any mistakes from that one as well, because he's going to want to try and do what he couldn't do in that first race and take the victory on that final lap. So to be fair to me, actually has got the speed. It's been a little bit unfair there, but definitely needs to hold on to that and just wait. I don't think it makes too much sense to be battling if he does get the opportunity. I think he just needs to close up and lift off a little bit in towards turn 1. As Byfeld, they went slightly wide, but it's actually not too bad in terms of his exit. And now onto this straight. Let's see how much Olsen closes up and if that sort of half a second gap at the hairpin is enough to stay close, but I think it should be.
He's a bit closer this time than he has been on previous attempts by about a tenth of a second, so he may well end up starting to close in the gap. They'll have 5 laps to go. When they come across the line, only 1/10 separating them now. He may well have enough speed to try and go for something here, but he won't. He'll stick back, and that's probably the wise move. It's not the kind of corner where you want to throw it in. You know, if you're not already alongside, it's not a great place to go for a move. However, they've been driving quickly. They haven't been going side by side. They're setting very quick lap times, and Holmboe has dropped back 2 seconds.
Yeah, he certainly has. He hasn't had the speed to hold on to these. To hold on to these guys, as I see Byford there, that purple fastest lap as well, really using the speed that he's got. Holmboe not able to hold on, and just wanted to see exactly where he was in the championship. Yeah, he's down his 17th place in the championship for Hexagon National Black Team. So this would be an awesome result for him if he can keep up the top. And that is certainly one reason why I do like these reverse grid races. Gives some drivers a little bit more of an opportunity to get up onto the podium.
It certainly does, and you see, especially with the drivers, especially if you've had a bad second race. If you're up at the top, you have a bad second race, you get flipped round, and then you're back at the top again at the start. All your rivals, your main competitors are a bit further back. It gives you a really good opportunity to go for a race win, as we've seen Olsen doing here. He has the pace for a race when we saw he missed out by 0.02 of a second in race 1. But bad second race put him at the front of the grid for race 3, and he stayed right there. He got a fantastic launch compared to everybody else, got the lead by the end, by halfway round the first lap, and he stayed there right up at the front ever since, and now looking to try and keep up to the back of Byfeld to maybe make something happen come the end of this race. But he has to close down the gap just that little bit more. That might help him though, as Byfeld goes a bit deep into the hairpin.
Yeah, he certainly does, but Olsen really is staying there, and I think this is going to be his tactic to the end, and he just needs to make sure he stays close enough in this corner specifically that he gets the run and he uses that slipstream, because it seems to be so powerful. And yes, really that half a second gap at the hairpin that he's having at this moment in time, is that's what he's had for the last couple of laps. If you can get that down by another 10th or so, because the slipstream sort of ramps up. It's like an exponential curve the closer that you get. So if you can just get in by that extra 10th a second, that might be enough this time around. Of course, he's not going to get the lead because he's, of course, going to be sitting in behind, I would assume. But also, he wasn't even close enough to the line. So at some point, he needs to get close enough, as we have 3 laps to go of the season, as Olsen tries to work out how he's going to get past.
It's so close, and it must be so difficult to keep the mentality strong when you're so close to a driver, but you just can't get close enough. With 3 laps to go in this race of the season, as you say, Cam. Now into the right-hander. You can see very different lines being taken by the drivers. And Olsen now into this hairpin. This is going to be probably the most important corner in the race in 2 laps' time. He's going to have to get the best exit possible out of this one to try and make that move towards the start-finish line. Will he try on the next time? That's not going to be helping him. He gets a little bit loose. He's still losing time. You can see the gap between them ticking up, still ticking up, and now he starts to close in because of the slipstream. And I fear that might be a little bit too late for him to try and make anything happen on this time by. But actually, look at this. His slipstream is incredible. Look how close he's getting to him now. He could actually be in with a shot now and towards turn 1. Look how close he's getting.
Yeah, at some point he might have to go for this, to be honest. Round the outside is going to be in turn 1, in towards the braking zone of turn 2. He's making Byfeld work for this. Oh, so close between the two. I don't think they had any contact, but that was certainly some really close racing. As Olsen, he's doing his best to slow down Byfeld, and this is what he needs to do, because he needs to have less than a half-second gap when we get to the exit of that hairpin. But now these are a couple of important corners. Olsen is getting the run once more. closer and closer he gets towards Byfeld in turn number 6 now, as Byfeld's slightly different line being taken between the two. Let's see how that works on the run through 7, which should be easy flat out for these guys now down this little brack straight towards turn 8, and then this is going to be the important corner coming on to the final lap of the race. Olsen looks to the inside. He tries to make Byfeld have a little bit of a wiggle. He does that slightly later apex, but look at Olsen. He gained about a 10th or so on that compared to that previous lap. This might be the one. This might be the opportunity. On to the final lap of the race. Final lap of the season. Time is about to come up. Byfeld leads for Super Street Trends. And of course, we got Olsen in the background for Bright Esports. How is this going to work around the final corner? Does Olsen go for it now? Does he wait for the final lap like he did on the first lap, on the first race? It wasn't enough. This time around, he goes side by side across the line. Byfeld is going to take the lead round the outside. Is it going to work, though? In towards turn number 2. Olsen makes it stick for Bright Esports. He goes to the apex, and he gets the lead.
That he does, and now it's down to Byfeld. Is he going to be able to make something happen on this lap? Does he go for it now into the hairpin? If he can get a run, I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to. He shows the nose. He wants Olsen to know he's there, and he is wanting this 3rd out of 3 race victories here at Homestead. What's the exit looking like out of the right-hander? It's not too bad. Look how close he is there. 2/10. He's closer than Olsen has ever been at this point. Less than 2/10 now into the left-hander. How's the exit going to be? This is going to decide the race.
It certainly is. Final corner time effectively is flat out from here. Byfeld, he's in a good place. He's at that 3/10 marker. Is it enough? What are we going to see in the final 2 corners of the season? And it's going to be a slipstream run to the line by 0.2 of a second, I should say. Olsen lost out on the race victory in the first race of the evening, but for the final one, the two same drivers go for it. To the outside, the Street Trends driver goes. Can he have the run? Side draft coming across the line. Who's going to get the final win of the season? It looks like it's going to be Byfeld by the smallest of margins. Once again, under a 10th of a second. But Byfeld goes 1, 2, 3, winning the 3 races here at the mega final by Hafley. And what a final race of the season it was. The Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Formula Series has been wonderful. We've had Jesper Eriksson winning the championship, but what a revelation Byfeld has been coming in. He missed the first 2 rounds, but has he been there for those 2? He probably could have won the championship. He takes 2nd place in the championship, and that is an awesome finish to the season. Olsen, unfortunately, Alexander Olsen missing out on 2 race victories for a combined total of about 35 thousandths of a second. That is absolutely incredible. What racing we've seen here at Homestead Miami. Cedric Holmbaum held on as well for his podium, and what a race that is for the number 10 machine. That was quite something, and what a way to finish the season. Definitely enjoyed that one. Despite some extra carnage in the background, the battles up towards the front were absolutely awesome, Dane.
Yeah, they certainly were. That was some fantastic racing throughout the field. And all 3 races that we've had here today at Homestead to round out the season. A couple of unfortunate incidents that we saw, a couple of big wrecks with multiple drivers involved, but the racing in general was fantastic, as it has been throughout this entire season. I can't wait until we get these drivers back out on the circuit for the next season that we have, whatever that may look like. I believe that Alina's actually may have dropped you some info about what they might be doing next, Cam. But first, we'll take a look at our race results, because what a final race that was. And once again, settled at the line.
It's an awesome track. I was a little bit worried how the oval final sector was going to do compared to the sort of tight and twisty infield final sector that you can have, but it certainly worked out really well. So here's your final results page of the season. After 18 laps, is Marcus Byfeld taking his 3rd race victory of the evening by 35 thousandths of a second to Alexander Olsen, just like it was in that first race. Holmbaum gets the place with Lindhoff and Holmer inside your top 5. Holmer and Hellberg inside your top 7, and Geros Woningston from your pole position gets 9th, and then Lundberg rounds out your top 10, with Byfeld also getting the fastest lap there on lap 7. Seglerson also from the front row gets 11th, with Norgren and Kinnell having some nice battles in that race. Johansson Pfeffer inside your top 15, with Yonsu Broström, Lenholm, Oxen, and Lodin rounding out your top 20 of those previous 3 drivers. Unfortunately, some laps down and DNFing from this race, as well as the final page of the season. Unfortunately, is going to see a lot of drivers there. Hammerström, Fredriksson, Bjorn, Ericsson, Neptune, Hafliderson, and Motin all getting some DNFs in this race. It was a very tricky track. It was certainly carnage filled, but it was a very exciting one indeed. But it does look like, Dana, as you say, that we are going to be going racing very, very soon in the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. Already in January, on the 11th of January, we will be going race once again in these Formula 4 cars in a cooperation with the Virtual Swedish Championship, and that is going to be a lot of fun indeed. These cars are giving us a great season, but already in just, about 6 weeks' time, we'll be going racing once again and starting a new, very exciting championship. So can't wait to see how that one goes. And Dana, looks like this car just gives us such great racing. That one should be great too.
Yeah, the F4 car has been giving us great racing across the service since it was brought in, and it very quickly became one of the most popular Formula cars on the service for great reason. It races so well everywhere. I mean, we saw good racing. And I actually can't remember what the circuit name is. It was a circuit that I haven't ever seen before. Let me take a quick look at the schedule and see. Winton. We had at Winton, which is a circuit where I have never seen a race, and I was told to expect not a lot, but we still had great racing there. These cars race well everywhere. They're small, they're light, they're very quick in a straight line. They have incredible slipstream, and they don't suffer dirty air too much. And you can see why they've quickly become the most popular car on the service.
Yeah, it's been a great season, and we'll get a couple of interviews to finish the year as well. So we'll pull in, of course, the sponsor actually for this race, Michael Hafliderson in the 81 machine, and it's certainly been an up and down season for you and your AM Racing team. And to be honest, you were upside down at one point in this race, in this event. So firstly, just tell us about that one.
It's not much to talk about. I want to forget that as fast as possible. I just think Jesper broke too late, and I tried to keep him too close. I mean, it's no one to blame. It's I think more my fault for trying to keep him that tight in the mid corner. So yeah.
And of course, you were our champion of the previous road course series in the LMP2s. Not quite the championship this season, but still very strong, batting up there in a very closely contested top 5. Just how did you think this championship went?
I mean, I guess I'm happy considering how many bad races I had. Definitely feel like I could have been a top 3 contender easily. But obviously, mega congrats to Jesper, and obviously Marcus, who's done an incredible season. Like the race has been, and it's been so consistent, it's insane. But I'm pretty happy with the season, and I want to say a special thanks to Linus and his father Björn, and of course Bohlins for getting this together. It's been a mega fun season.
Yeah, it certainly has, and we're just getting a replay there off your accident. Wow, that was that was a big crash there. Nice little highlights package. And yeah, looking forward to obviously it looks like we're starting this new championship in January as well with the same car. Do you think you can sort of be competitive in that one as well?
Well, considering that we now know that we're gonna have the F4 in the 2024 Swedish Championship, it's definitely a car I'm gonna put in a lot more effort in. So yeah, hopefully I can be up there fighting for a title again. But as we know, Jesper is mega quick, Marcus is mega quick, some of the bright guys has been mega quick today, so I mean, it's gonna be hard.
Yes, certainly is, and congratulations for your championship overall. Wasn't it the sort of regaining your championship in the road course stuff, but certainly a nice one overall. Well done.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And just looking at the points, it looks like Byfeld did confirm himself in second place in the championship, and Alexander Olsen with what a strong round to finish as well with 2 second places. It looks like he got 3rd place in the championship, all behind Jesper Eriksson, who took the championship even despite having 2 DNFs this evening. And what a season it has been here for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Formula Series for 2023. We have our champions, but we'll certainly be going racing once again. As we say, in January the 11th, we'll be going going racing once more in a new Formula 4 series, and that is going to be a fun one in cooperation with the virtual Swedish Championship. So we'll look forward to that one, but don't forget, of course, the Oval Series continues between now and May. The next race is on the 14th of December, where we go racing once more in the, of course, NASCAR Oval Series. So we look forward to that one. But from here at Homestead, this rounds it up. It's been myself, Cameron Roger, and Dane Baird alongside me, and of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. We've had a lot of fun, and just by a couple of thousandths of a second, it was Byfeld holding on to take all 3 victories here. But until the 14th of December, we'll be back for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series. We wish you a very good warm goodbye, and we thank you for watching.